Like this video right now if you have received this divine warning from Archangel Michael and are taking it seriously. The Archangel is watching at this moment, counting those who heed his call, those who recognize the gravity of this situation. Time is already running down, the 2 minutes are passing as dark forces prepare for tonight. Show Archangel Michael you are awake and alert to the danger, that you are not blinded by disbelief, that you understand what is at stake. The simple act of acknowledging this message begins the process of protection. Dark forces target sleeping souls because that is when your spiritual defenses are lowest, when your conscious mind releases control and your spirit becomes accessible. They enter through unguarded dreams, appearing first as harmless images, familiar faces, comforting scenes, but behind these disguises lurk entities that seek to attach themselves to your soul. They create dream loops, endless scenarios that feel real, that trap your consciousness in cycles that prevent your spirit from properly returning to your waking body. Each night millions of people report feeling exhausted despite hours of sleep because their spirits have been battling attacks they cannot remember, conflicts they cannot escape. Tonight the threat is greater because a rare alignment has created a thinning of protective veils, a weakening of natural barriers that normally shield sleeping minds. The forces gathering have been planning this night, marking those who will be targeted, selecting souls that radiate certain energies, certain lights that they wish to extinguish. Your name has appeared on their list, your spirit has been marked, and they wait for you to fall asleep unprotected. Type Amen right now if you will remain vigilant tonight, if you acknowledge the threat Archangel Michael has revealed. Your declaration signals to the spiritual realm that you are aware that you are not walking blindly into their trap. The entities searching for unprotected souls look for those who sleep in ignorance, those who dismiss warnings, those who mock messages of protection. By typing Amen you declare your spiritual awareness, you activate the first layer of defense against what waits in the dark corners of sleep. Archangel Michael is the divine protector, the warrior of heaven whose sword cuts through deception, whose shield deflects attacks from the forces of darkness. Throughout time, across every culture, he has appeared to warn humanity of spiritual danger, to offer protection to those who call upon his name with sincere hearts. He does not send messages like this randomly, he does not raise alarms without cause. When he warns of danger, it is because he has seen what approaches. His role in the spiritual hierarchy places him as guardian between dimensions, between the world of wake and sleep, between light and shadow. The sword he carries is not physical but spiritual. It cuts through the illusions that dark entities create, exposing their true nature, their true intentions. When you invoke his name, when you request his protection, he stations angelic guards around your sleeping form, creating a barrier that shadow forces cannot penetrate. He has chosen to warn you specifically because he has seen their plans for you tonight. Type 777 right now if you accept Archangel Michael's protection, if you request his divine shield over your sleep tonight. The number 777 represents complete spiritual perfection. It activates sacred frequencies that resonate through the spiritual realm, announcing your alignment with divine protection. Archangel Michael responds to this signal, sending his light to surround you, to create a boundary that dark forces cannot cross. This is not symbolic, this is not imagination, this is spiritual reality that operates beyond physical understanding. Type 777 to declare yourself under his guardianship before the 2-minute window closes. The entities that target sleeping souls disguise their intentions behind pleasant dreams, behind familiar faces, behind scenarios that feel safe and comforting. They begin by creating small disruptions in normal sleep patterns, causing you to wake briefly, creating gaps they can slip through undetected. They whisper thoughts that seem like your own, plant emotions that feel natural, guide your dreams in directions that lead to spiritual traps hidden in the landscape of your subconscious. They are patient, working gradually over many nights until they establish footholds in your dreamscape areas. They control sections of your spiritual territory they've claimed without your knowledge. Once established, they begin to harvest spiritual energy, siphoning vitality, creating exhaustion that persists through waking hours that no amount of physical rest can cure. In advanced stages, they create dream paralysis, sensations of being watched, feelings of dread that follow you into waking life, persistent thoughts that darken your outlook on reality. Their ultimate goal is possession, not of your body but of your spiritual essence, the core of who you truly are. Type Shield Me Michael to activate divine protection to call the Archangel's presence directly into your sleeping space tonight. These words are not just a message, they are a spiritual command that resonates across dimensions, that reaches the guardian of light who stands ready to respond. The enemies planning to enter your sleep tonight recoil at these words. They recognize the authority behind them, the power they carry. Dark entities cannot stand against direct invocation of Archangel Michael's shield. They cannot overcome its radiance, its divine authority. Your sleep is not just rest, it is a spiritual battlefield where your soul becomes vulnerable and open to forces beyond your understanding. When your eyes close, your spirit enters realms where dark entities search for unprotected souls. They move in silence through dream corridors, seeking those who sleep without divine covering. Tonight, the alignment of spiritual forces has created a dangerous opening, a gap in the normal protections that shield sleeping minds. Archangel Michael has witnessed the gathering of shadow entities preparing to enter the dreams of the unprotected. They wait for you to fall asleep without reading this warning, without activating your shield. In the spirit realm, time works differently. What feels like a normal night's sleep could become an eternity of spiritual captivity. Your soul can become trapped, wandering in endless darkness, unable to return to your waking body if you ignore what Archangel Michael is trying to tell you now. This battle has raged since the beginning of time, but tonight it comes to your doorstep, to your bedroom, to your pillow. Type 333 if you stand with Archangel Michael tonight, if you align yourself with the forces of light against the darkness that seeks to enter your sleep. The number 333 represents divine protection, complete alignment with spiritual guardians, the perfect balance of body, mind, and spirit. When you type these numbers, you send ripples through the spiritual atmosphere, creating vibrations that repel negative entities, that strengthen your spiritual boundaries. Dark forces flee from those who consciously declare their position with the light. Countless people have received similar warnings from Archangel Michael before nights of spiritual danger. Those who heeded his call woke with renewed strength, with clarity, with divine peace. They reported dreams where they saw shadowy figures, unable to approach them, stopped by walls of light, by angelic guardians, by swords of flame that surrounded their sleeping forms. Some witnessed Archangel Michael himself standing at the foot of their bed, his wings spread, his sword drawn, his eyes scanning the darkness for any threat that dared approach. Others who dismissed these warnings, who scrolled past, who mocked the urgency, reported terrifying nightmares, paralysis during sleep, sensations of being watched, feeling something had been taken from them. Many woke feeling more exhausted than before they slept, experiencing sudden health problems, unexplained anxiety, persistent dark thoughts that were not their own. Some never fully returned to their former selves. Part of their spiritual essence remained trapped in the dream realms, captured by forces they did not believe existed. The difference between these two outcomes was simple: those who accepted protection received it, those who rejected it faced the darkness alone. Type 1 am protected to seal your commitment to this spiritual covenant with Archangel Michael to finalize your request for divine intervention tonight. These words, spoken with conviction, create a spiritual declaration that echoes through dimensions, that marks your soul as claimed by light, as defended by heaven. The 2-minute window is closing rapidly. The dark forces are already beginning to circle, waiting for night to fall, waiting for your eyes to close. This final declaration completes your spiritual preparation, creates a seal that dark entities cannot break, cannot penetrate, cannot override. Before you sleep tonight, there are specific steps you must take to ensure Archangel Michael's protection remains active throughout your vulnerable hours of rest. First, place your right hand over your heart and speak his name 3 times, inviting his presence into your sleeping space, claiming his protection over your spiritual body. Next, visualize a sphere of blue-white light surrounding your bed, expanding to fill your room, creating a barrier that no darkness can penetrate, no entity can cross. As you lay down to sleep, repeat the words: shield of light, sword of truth, protect my soul through the watches of the night. Set the intention that you will remember your dreams, that you will be aware of any spiritual battle, that you will recognize divine intervention if it occurs. Keep something blue near your bed, a cloth, a crystal, a light, as physical anchors for Archangel Michael's energy, his color, his vibration. Most importantly, fall asleep without fear, knowing you are guarded, knowing you are protected, knowing you are not alone. Type Michael stands guard to complete your preparation to acknowledge the divine sentinel who will watch over your sleep tonight. These words activate the final layer of protection, summoning the Archangel's direct attention to your specific spiritual location. In the realm of sleep, in the world of dreams, your declaration serves as a beacon that guides his light to your soul. The enemies who plan to enter your unprotected mind will see this light from afar, will recognize the presence they cannot defeat. When Archangel Michael intervenes in moments of spiritual danger, his power manifests as sudden light in darkness, as unexpected clarity in confusion, as strength that comes when your own resources are depleted. His angelic army responds to authentic prayers, to sincere requests, creating networks of protection, barriers of light that dark forces cannot penetrate, cannot overcome. Those who sleep under divine guard experience deeper rest, more vivid positive dreams, enhanced spiritual awareness, and accelerated healing of body, mind, and spirit. The transformation that occurs during protected sleep goes beyond simple rest. It realigns your spiritual frequency, attunes your consciousness to higher vibrations, repairs damage from previous attacks. Many report waking with solutions to problems they couldn't solve, insights they hadn't considered, creative inspiration that seemed to come from beyond themselves. This is because protected sleep allows your spirit to commune with higher realms, to receive guidance, wisdom, and healing that cannot reach you when dark forces block the connection. The difference between ordinary sleep and divinely protected sleep is the difference between survival and true restoration. The fatal mistake that countless souls have made throughout time is dismissing divine warnings, believing they are immune to spiritual danger, thinking these messages are meant for others, not for them. Historical texts across cultures record similar warnings from angels, from divine messengers, that preceded catastrophic spiritual attacks against those who would not listen, who would not prepare. The regret comes too late when morning arrives and something essential has been taken, something precious has been lost, something that cannot be easily restored. Spiritual attacks of this nature are often irreversible. The damage they cause creates fractures in your spiritual body, tears in your energetic field that allow further infiltration, further weakening. Archangel Michael cannot protect those who reject his warning, cannot shield those who mock this message, cannot save those who choose to sleep unguarded on this particular night. The choice is yours, but understand that choices in the spiritual realm carry consequences that extend beyond the physical, beyond the temporary, beyond what medicine or science can address. Type 1. Believe. To demonstrate your faith in this warning, to acknowledge the reality of spiritual warfare, to accept the truth that forces beyond physical understanding are at work in your life. This declaration of belief strengthens your spiritual immune system, creates resilience against attacks, builds barriers that negative entities struggle to overcome. The forces targeting sleeping souls tonight are counting on disbelief, on dismissal, on the modern tendency to reject spiritual realities. Your simple act of believing creates a shield they cannot anticipate, a defense they have not prepared for, a light they cannot extinguish. Learn to recognize if dark forces have already targeted your sleep, if they have begun the process of spiritual infiltration before tonight's more severe attack. Symptoms include persistent fatigue despite adequate sleep hours, feeling drained immediately upon waking, experiencing time gaps during night that you cannot account for. Warning dreams often feature being chased, being trapped, being unable to speak or scream, witnessing shadowy figures at the edges of your vision, feeling watched by unseen presences. Physical manifestations include unexplained bruises upon waking, sleeping in positions you don't remember, assuming waking with scratches or marks that weren't there before. Your emotional state offers clues as well: sudden onset depression, anxiety without clear cause, personality changes that friends and family notice, persistent negative thoughts that seem foreign to your nature. Spiritual attacks during sleep can also trigger unusual sleep behaviors, sleepwalking, sleep-talking, night terrors that leave you shaken and disoriented. If you recognize these signs in your life, the need for Archangel Michael's protection is even more urgent, the 2-minute window even more critical. Type awake and aware to demonstrate your spiritual vigilance, to declare your refusal to be caught unaware by forces that prey on the sleeping, the unconscious, the unprotected. These words create a spiritual alarm system that remains active even as your physical body rests, alerting your higher consciousness to any attempted intrusion. Your declaration of awareness sends a powerful message to entities that seek easy targets, that prefer victims who sleep in ignorance. They avoid souls who declare themselves awake even in sleep. The spiritual agreement between you and Archangel Michael is a sacred covenant, a binding contract that establishes specific protections and responsibilities on both sides of the spiritual veil. When you invoke his protection, you enter into this divine arrangement where he pledges his shield, his sword, his angelic guardians to defend your sleeping spirit. Your responsibility in this covenant is to remain spiritually sincere, to approach this protection with genuine belief, to follow the sleeping ritual with focused intention. The bond created through this spiritual agreement doesn't end when morning comes. It establishes a lasting connection, a channel through which divine guidance and protection can flow. Those who enter this covenant often report continued awareness of Archangel Michael's presence, synchronicities involving his name, his symbols, his colors appearing in their waking life. Some experience dreams where he provides direct guidance, warnings about upcoming challenges, instructions for spiritual growth and protection. This is not coincidence but continuation of the covenant you established tonight. Type covenant sealed to finalize your protection agreement, to formally acknowledge the spiritual bond between your soul and Archangel Michael's divine guardianship. This declaration serves as your spiritual signature on the covenant, as your conscious acceptance of both the protection offered and the responsibility required. The forces gathering to attack sleeping souls tonight cannot override a sealed covenant, cannot breach a formalized agreement between human consciousness and angelic protection. They seek those who sleep without such agreements, those who remain vulnerable, those who have not established spiritual claims on their dream territory. The 2-minute window Archangel Michael has granted is nearly closed. The opportunity to secure divine protection before tonight's spiritual attack is fading with each passing moment. What's at stake cannot be overstated, cannot be diminished, cannot be dismissed as mere superstition or fear. Your very essence, your spiritual continuity, your soul's integrity hangs in the balance. Those who fail to complete all steps of protection before the window closes face a night of unprecedented vulnerability, a darkness that seeks not just to frighten but to capture, not just to disturb but to possess. The entities gathering strength as daylight fades are ancient, are patient, are experienced in the infiltration of unprotected dreams, unguarded souls, unprepared minds. This is not the moment for hesitation, for skepticism, for scrolling past what may be the most important spiritual warning you've ever received. The urgency in this message reflects the severity of what approaches, the reality of the danger, the critical nature of immediate action before it becomes too late. Complete all steps before the final second of this divine window expires. Type victory is mine, to claim triumph over the darkness that planned to invade your sleep tonight, to declare yourself already victorious through divine protection. These powerful words spoken with conviction create a preemptive strike against attacking forces, establishing the outcome before the battle even begins. Archangel Michael responds to declarations of victory, strengthening your spiritual position, reinforcing your protective boundaries, doubling the angelic guards around your sleeping form. The enemies who targeted you feel their plans dissolving, their strategies failing, their attacks weakening before they can even launch them against your guarded soul. If you have followed these instructions, if you have made these declarations, if you have opened your heart to this divine warning, then Archangel Michael's protection is now firmly in place. The shield has been activated, the sword has been drawn, the angelic guardians have taken their positions around the space where you will sleep tonight. You can rest in divine peace, knowing the forces that plan to attack your vulnerable spirit have been repelled, have been defeated, have been sent back to the shadows where they belong. Archangel Michael's promise to those who listened is unbreakable, is eternal, is absolute. You will sleep in safety and wake renewed. The peace that comes with divine protection surrounds you now, flows through you now, remains with you through the watches of the night. Sleep without fear, dream without danger, wake without loss, for you are guarded, you are shielded, you are protected. It is done.